Everybody. It is September and we are back with Chris Woolsey from Crackle. How you doing, Chris?
I am good. How are you doing?
Oh, I am sweating like a beast over here, but I am doing great. Great.
Yep, me too. I am sweating like a chubby guy at Jenny Craig. Let me tell you, it is it is warm where I am.
Oh, all I do is blink and I can feel the sweat just drip. I'm like, do I need to go work out now? Probably not. I mean, this is a workout,
Seriously,
right?
my heart is racing, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so we just wanted to check in and see what's going on with Crackle. I've seen a few new things pop up, and so we figured we'd just jump right into it and you can fill us in on what we can expect.
Absolutely. Love to do it.
Yeah.
So this month we are super excited to have my friend series and yours, Casper Van Dien. This was a Popcorn Flicks original. Popcorn Flicks is one of our sister channels, and that's more of our action adrenaline brand. But this month, the Casper Van Dien series, Salvage Marines, moves from Popcorn Flicks and now is also available on Crackle. And I know
Woohoo.
you interviewed Casper a few weeks back at Comic-Con, and that was super cool. And I think you would agree that he and his wife are two of the loveliest celebrities in Hollywood. So nice and just so great to work with.
Yes, I agree 110%. I actually just got off the phone with a friend that I was catching up with, and I told her that was literally the highlight of my con was being able to chat with them and also with you. Like you guys are all so personable and like it was just so much fun. I felt like I had known you guys for a really long time. It was just very easy to converse and kind of just, see what's going on and just kind of learn about each other. But at the same time, he's just a nerd like me, right? And I mean that in a great way. It's like he
Totally.
loves the same things. He loves walking the floor, just interacting with other humans, and it's fun just to watch people and just he enjoys life, right? Like you can just tell this man enjoys life. And I've actually been seeing stuff that he's been posting on Instagram and stuff like that, and you're just like you want to watch everything. So if Crackle can have whatever he's got, you just want to watch it. So I actually told her because I did see that it was Salvage Marines was coming to Crackle. I was like, you need to watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're
Watch.
so excited about this. It's awesome. 6 episodes. If you liked Starship Troopers, you're going to love Salvage Marines. It takes place in the future where corporations have taken like way more control than they even have now. And in order to get out of this generational debt, people enlist in the Salvage Marines, which is like this militarized group that go around the universe trying to take resources. And Casper Van Dien's character wants to make sure that he doesn't leave his children with this crushing debt that he's been burdened with his whole life. And so he enlists in the Salvage Marines and goes into deep space with Peter Shinkota and his wife Jennifer Winger and the whole crew so that they could try to get out from underneath this debt. And I think like a lot of good science fiction, it's actually very prescient about the discussion about debt and corporate control and all of these things that I think are very real right now. And with all the talk about college debt and what Biden rolled out last week, I think this series is really timely. But if you like 90s throwback, like all those early sci-fi channel series, which I loved growing up, this is totally going to be in your wheelhouse because it is fun, fun, fun.
Yeah, for sure. You can't go wrong with this show. And I mean, another thing that sells it is the cast. You know what I mean? Like everybody, they again, super friendly, so much fun. And you can just tell that they all worked really well together. And so it's 100%. on the list of watching and rewatching, because as you said, it's like those 90s sci-fis. It's like you can't get enough of that stuff, you know.
No.
So I definitely agree with that. So I'm super stoked that it's Crackle time.
Absolutely. And remember, it's always free on Crackle, so you can binge till your heart's content.
Which is kind of dangerous, but also amazing at the same time.
Absolutely.
And what else do we have?
So we've got another really interesting series dropping September 15th, and that is called Pet Caves. And that is a Chicken Soup for the Soul original production. And this is a series. Okay, so I am a pet owner. I am a little bit obsessed about my dog. I think we talked about our pets when we met at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And so I have an Australian cattle dog that I'm obsessed with, and she's just the best dog in the world. But the pet owners on this series put me to shame. They have taken a room in their house, and the series has a animal behaviorist and a design architect come in and completely revamp an entire room in their house so that their furry or scaly or feathery baby knows that they are indeed king of the castle. And they do these insane makeovers just so this particular animal, whether it's a dog or a cat or a bird or a big old scaly lizard, can be as comfortable as physically possible. And so you need to watch and just look at the crazy lengths that these pet parents will go through to make their babies feel loved.
Oh my gosh. That could be so nuts. Like I'm thinking about it right now. I've always like I usually have cats because most places allow you to have cats. I love cat. I love all animals. I really don't have an issue with any of them. And so at one point I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll put some like, shelves up so they could jump up, do all their little, fun things, keep them occupied. But I could never, and maybe it's just because living in California, not a lot of us have big places. So we don't have a lot of room. I could never imagine just giving up an entire bedroom or something for an animal. So I'm really curious because I have seen some people basically treating their animals like babies, right? Like they dress them up, everything. And I'm like, I'm really curious to see what they do with those rooms. Like, how far do people really go for the animals that they love? Which, yay, love your animals, but holy cow!
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, one episode, the kid whose room they're renovating to make it for the animal is like, hey, wait a minute, I kind of like the way the room was, and they're like, yeah, just it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
No, oh
And
my
it is. They do actually make it fine for both the kid and the pet. But there's a moment there where you're like, wait a minute, where's the priorities here?
yeah, you're like,
It's
wait,
crazy.
I'm like, you have a child, like human. I mean, but if you can make the space work for both, I guess.
And it does. You have to watch the series. They
Oh,
do
I'm
an
gonna have to.
amazing job.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I think that could be a lot of fun for sure. Wow.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So what else? Anything else? I mean, I know you guys always have ever changing things, because you guys got BBC stuff that comes in and
Yep.
I'm sure that thing it's like an ebb and flow, stuff leaves and other things come in.
So yeah, so we talked about Crackle is different than a lot of other streaming platforms in that it's free, but there's a couple other things that kind of set us apart in even among the free platforms. One is that we have this original content, these different series that I'm describing can only be seen on one of our Crackle Plus channels, whether it's Popcorn Flicks or Crackle or Chicken Soup for the Soul. But also we refresh our content more than almost any other platform out there. So every month there are tons of new titles coming on, whether they're originals or exclusives or Hollywood blockbusters or classic TV series. We have all these new movies and TV shows coming every single month. So there's always something new for you to catch. And one of my favorites, you brought up the BBC. We have this amazing BBC documentary series called A Life in 10 Pictures. And every episode, they take a different iconic celebrity and they tell their life journey through the 10 most iconic pictures ever taken of them. Last month we had Elizabeth Taylor, which of course is an amazing drama-laden story.
Oh yeah.
But this month we have one of my favorites, and I've loved every episode, but I think this one is my favorite so far. We have Muhammad Ali, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I think just hearing that name, you think of several iconic pictures. But yeah, and they go through his story. I mean, at 18, he was boxing in the Olympics. By 22, he was the heavyweight champion of the world. And, you know, just his sports accomplishments alone would have made this a fascinating story. But his personal life was just as interesting. So, you know, he was a conscientious objector during the Vietnam War. He was actually arrested for what, you know, they charged him with draft dodging. He was stripped of all of his titles because of this and had to go to court to fight to get his titles back. I mean, just an incredible story. And then, of course, his sports comeback, the Rumble in the Jungle, and all of that. So just fascinating stuff. Highly recommended. Even if you don't like sports, his story is so riveting that I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I actually watched the Liz Taylor one because you had told us about it last month, and I was like, oh, I need to watch that. It was brilliant. The way that they do it and the people that they speak to, it's just, it sucks you in. So even if you didn't know who she was, which I mean, it's possible nowadays. Yeah, I know. There's probably like some 16-year-old that's like, who? But totally. Okay, that's fine. You know, I'm not talking to you. You could maybe ask your mom or dad. But it was really, really good. It was really well done. There was more that you learned than just the basic, oh, this is what she did. These were the movies she was in, you know, whatever. Yep. It was really, really well done. And, you know, I do know a lot about Muhammad Ali just because of other documentaries that I've seen and stuff. So it'll be nice to kind of see how they focus on other things, especially based on photos and what photos they actually choose to use for that. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a good one.
You're going to love it. Yep. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. That's just so, I really do love that show. Like they have done a really great job. And it's such a different way of kind of showing you the history and things like that behind these people that, you know, we know just as celebrities or, you know, sports, whatever, but it's just, it's such a neat way to kind of give you a new perspective on their lives. Yep, so
absolutely.
Yeah, so
good stuff.
That, guys, definitely. Yep. Wow, there's just so much. Like I was flipping through it the other day, and I'm like, TV shows. I know we talked last time. You guys have Laurel and Hardy stuff, and you know there were the 80s, some 80s movies and things like that.
So we do different channels, as you bring up. We do different channels every month, and they're usually built either around a theme or they're seasonal or topical. And this month, because we've got award season coming up, so we did an award-winning TV channel. So it's got some classic TV on there, but some shows that maybe people, you know, my generation probably just was a little too young to catch some of these. I have always been a fan of old TV, and my parents introduced me to a lot of shows that I might not have watched otherwise. But on here, one of my all-time favorite shows, Barney Miller.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, like old school, but like so good. I mean, this cast, it was one of those casts like Cheers, where you're just like, I don't know how all the the planets aligned to get all of these amazing performers together on a single show. I mean, you had Hal Linden and Ron Glass and Steve Landesberg and Jack Sue. I mean, none of these names really jump out at you, but when you watch the show, you can't imagine anyone else playing any one of those characters. I mean, it ran for 8 seasons.
Oh,
it
wow.
had 32 Emmy nominations and only 3 wins, which I think is highway robbery because it's just an amazing show. But 32 nominations, and most of those were for the performers and the actors that were on the show, because their performances were just amazing. And it's one of those shows that was like kind of a drama and kind of a comedy. You never quite knew where it sat, but because of that, it was like, it was like MASH, where you're laughing, you're crying, you're just you get all the emotions in each episode. And I was just a huge fan, so that's exciting. We also have the Dick Van Dyke Show, which is another one that, like, you just look at these performers. I mean, Dick Van Dyke, obviously, right. Mary Tyler Moore, one of the most beautiful leading ladies in television history. Rob Reiner, who's like just a comedy legend. Maury Amsterdam. I mean, just an amazing cast. They ran 5 seasons, 9 Emmy nominations, and they won 4 Emmys on that show. So it was basically one of the first runaway sitcom hits in TV history. So definitely want to check that out. And then again, you brought up the BBC content that we have. One of the most nominated shows of all time we have exclusively on Crackle, and that's Sherlock. The Benedict Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman reboot of the Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle series, and they update it to modern times. 4 seasons. We have all 4 seasons, and you can only watch them on Crackle. We also have the Christmas episode, which is super great, but 39 Emmy nominations for this show. I know, it's amazing, with 9 wins. It's just an unbelievable show. The chemistry between those 2 guys,
it's brilliant.
It really is. And the writing, and because it's BBC, like, each episode's like 90 minutes long, so you're basically watching a movie, and it's written in such a way that it's a very cinematic journey, and you feel like each episode is like a standalone, like one of the best suspense mystery thrillers that you've ever watched. So
yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of my go-tos. I've watched it a few times through. I mean, we'll just say that. But I mean, I grew up reading Sherlock books, and so it's also fun to kind of see how people do different versions of it. Whether they keep it, in the past, or if they make it more modern. And I do have to say that the BBC blew it out of the water with how they did this. And to their credit, they also cast it really, really well. I mean, if you think about Moriarty, and like, it's brilliant.
Yeah, there's not a bad performance in all 4 seasons. Like, they just got the best of the best.
Yeah.
And as well as the best writers, producers. The art direction is amazing. Like, yeah, it's just, I can't say enough good things about it. Really great stuff. And because we have this deal with the BBC, like I said, it's exclusive. You can only watch it unless you buy the episodes on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
You can only stream this on Crackle, which is very exciting for us. So yeah, again, you can binge the entire series and it won't cost you a dime.
It's so really good nice stuff. And I did want to jump in just because, we were talking about the older TV shows. Crackle kind of reminds me, part of it, obviously, because there is just such a wide array of things that you guys offer. With very little commercial time, I might add. Okay. Because, if anybody has ever watched Hulu, I mean, who doesn't watch it? You either have to pay more for no commercials, or you have to sit through like 3 minutes of commercials almost every like 15 minutes. Whereas I think I said last time, it's maybe 45 seconds at most. That might even be too long. Yeah.
We try to keep it as low as possible.
Yeah. But one of the things that I love is it almost reminds me of Nick at Night. I don't know if you remember Nick at Night,
Oh
but
yeah.
so my mom and I, when I was very little, we would sit there and we would watch all of these different shows that were offered. And even like, God, there's so many, I can't even think of it. Even
Okay.
like things like Mr. Ed and Green Acres and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
Green
would watch
Acres. Loved it.
all of those shows, and it was just so great to be able to watch those as a kid, and kind of like my mom got to show me what she got to watch as a kid too.
Yep.
So it was really great that they actually allowed us to do that. And then, they kind of disappeared, and it was really hard to find all of these things. And now Crackle is basically giving us that opportunity again to watch all of these, like, and they're really great shows. Maybe you don't connect with it 100% because they are a little older,
Sure.
but you kind of get to also understand where your parents, grandparents, what they watched, and you start learning a different style of humor. And like, even I Love Lucy, stuff like
Yep.
that. You're just like, it's so great. So I love the fact that Crackle is bringing all of these older shows to where, like, even Barney Miller. I mean, I remember watching that stuff too, and I was like, this is so great. So I can't wait to go back and watch that stuff, because again, it's like reminiscent of childhood. And so thanks for doing that for us.
That's what we're here for. And talking about the BBC and older shows that you can't find anywhere else. We've got the Space Oddities channel, which is a bunch of sci-fi titles. So we were talking about you and I being nerds, along with Mr. Van Deen. So we have on this channel, we have a bunch of sci-fi titles. One of them is Starship Troopers 3.
Yes.
So we've got Casper on there as well. So not only do we have him in Salvage Marines, but we also have the third installment of the Starship Troopers franchise, which is great. But a movie or a TV series that you can't find anywhere else right now there's a huge cult following for it, is Red Dwarf from the BBC, which I don't know if you ever watched it. I somehow missed it in my travels as a planetary geek. I somehow skipped over this one, but it is awesome. So it's basically Star Trek meets Monty Python.
Oh,
And
get out of here.
so it's just a bunch of idiots in space trying not to die every episode. And it is awesome. It's got that great British sensibility, sense of humor that is just biting and phenomenal. And yet it's in this like sci-fi environment. It's a gem for sure.
Oh, I'm totally checking that out, because again, I love British humor. No one in my family gets it. So
Yeah,
again, I'm the odd one out. I'm like,
me too.
I get more things than they do. I don't know how, but it's just I love it so much. I tried getting on, even watch Doctor Who and stuff, and it was like eyes crossing. They didn't get it. I'm like, never
Totally.
mind, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, like that just sounds like so much fun. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how I missed that one, because I tried
Red
to,
Dwarf is great.
check out that stuff. So
There's
when
another one that we have called The Aliens, starring Michael Sosha, and
okay.
it's also kind of comedic, kind of dramatic, but it leans a little more comedic. But it basically takes place about 10 years after aliens land on the planet, and they look just like we do, but they're kind of put into a single city in the UK. So there's this mythical city of Troy that they create on the series, and all the aliens are put in there. And then Michael Sosha is a border guard whose job it is to keep the peace. And so it's kind of like Alien Nation, if you remember that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. And there's a lot, like we were talking about, good sci-fi having a lot of crossover into modern society. This has that too, because there's sort of a lot. It brings up a lot of subjects about immigration,
Right.
and yeah, it's really a great show. And again, has that British humor to it, that kind of biting. Oh, it's just really good stuff. So that's The Aliens. So that's another one that you're going to want to check out for sure.
You just don't want me to sleep.
No,
at this point, dude.
no,
You just want me to
exactly.
like, I'm gonna have to like hold, A Clockwork Orange, keep my eyes open.
That's it. The Ludovico technique.
Get through
Yeah.
all of this stuff, which is
Yep.
great because I love watching TV. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, trying to, learn everything that's coming out and sharing this with everybody if I didn't love, TV so much. It's just nice to see what different things are out there, what we can learn from different things. And that's another great thing about especially the sci-fi stuff is that if you think about it, a lot of them talk about things that we are still going through as a society today. So even if they're 10, 15 years ago, you can still see, okay, maybe some things haven't changed so much and stuff like, or it reoccurs. And it's like, can we not just learn from these movies or TV shows? That's what they're here for. Like they're literally saying, okay, us as a society need to change some things.
Totally.
So it's really nice that, they kind of hit on those points, but you can also laugh at some things too, because you don't want everything too deep.
Right.
Yeah. That's too much of a downer. We got to make it funny, but also learn from it, right? And I really
Absolutely.
feel like a lot of things do that. And you guys are also allowing people to see those things that we may not have actually had ever seen otherwise because no other streaming services are offering these things. So it's really great to kind of get these new shows to watch or movies. So I'm looking forward to those. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to let you know what I think about those when I get done watching them for sure.
Raven, I would love to hear your thoughts after
Oh
you
God,
check it
100%. I mean, I may nerd out a bit too much, but I have found that we will have some fun with that. So, well, wow, there's just so much,
There's
and
a
I'm
lot.
sure there's even more. But this is a good chunk to start off with, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yep, for sure.
So what I'll do is I'm going to make a list. So when I post this, I'll just everybody tune in and then look at the list in the drop down. We'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on. But again, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to give us all this information, share what Crackle has to offer. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. It's so much fun. Um,
Raven, the pleasure is all mine. And
yeah, and
I look forward to coming back next month and telling you all about the spooky titles that we've got coming for October and
I
Halloween.
cannot wait. I'm such a spooky girl. Like you can't see my shirt, but it has cats on it and it's talking about like I don't even remember what it says, but
Portal to another dimension, to the
yes,
cat
the
dimension.
cat
Okay.
dimension. Yeah.
Yep.
I love this shirt. It's hilarious. There's also one that I got that says Easy Bake Coven on it, and it's got three witches on it, So it's all a play off of like fun 80s, 70s, and 80s stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I love that stuff. So spooky girl ready for October and spooky
All right.
season. Can't wait for
Well,
you to fill me in.
we'll make it happen.
Thank you so much, Chris, and
All
you have
right.
a
Thank you,
wonderful
Raven.
rest of your day. Talk to you
You
soon.
too. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.